So yesterday I talked about on the show, I said, I said, I sold all my Doge. I traded all my Doge for Bitcoin. And then, of course, the same day, Trump announces that Elon Musk and Vivek are forming the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge. Elon puts out a picture of the Doge. And I want to talk about this because there's going to be a moral of the story here. It's not regret of me selling it, believe that or not. But I mean, just like I said yesterday, every trade I've done has been horrible. So if you're watching the show for trading advice, you're in the wrong spot. But anyways, I do not regret selling my Doge. I might buy some back later, but probably not. And that's what I want to talk about here. So I saw this tweet from a fella on Twitter yesterday. And this is going to be a two-part story here. But this is from, let me bring it up here. This tweet was from Wealth Theory. And it says, "Oh my goodness, I just realized something. Elon Musk is going to take down the Federal Reserve. Very possible that he's going to work to make Doge a currency and Bitcoin a reserve asset. He is the most radical visionary we've ever seen. X is a big part of his legacy. He is hardcore and he is right. This has massive implications." And this is after Elon tweeted this picture of Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency. All right, so we can't waste any more time here, unfortunately. I'm going to have to go at this pretty hard, pretty fast. So what do I think about this? I believe it or not, that sounds fucking crazy, but I believe it. And if you've been watching the show since inception, the one thing I've said before Trump talked about Bitcoin at all, I said my prediction is that Trump's going to take down the central banks, the Federal Reserve. And I don't know if Doge is going to be the key here, but we're going to talk about that. But it would make sense. So we're going to talk about Doge a little bit. I'm going to give you my Cole's notes on Doge just so everybody's informed on what's going on there. But it makes sense because if you think about what Elon's doing, he's been talking about Doge for a long time. If you've probably seen the interview where he said it was invented as a joke, but it would be very ironic if it replaced, currency. Plus, he owns X. He's always wanted to turn X into the everything app. He's been getting money transmitter licenses in many states. So he's been thinking about this for a very long time. He's got Twitter now. Doge, I'm pretty sure, let me double check this before I say it. I'm just going to say it actually. I'm pretty sure the Dogecoin runs on Lightning. And if you tie everything together here between every app, including X, but every app having a Lightning wallet in it, I'm pretty sure Doge runs on Lightning. I could be wrong on that, but that's besides the point. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Doge. I had my assistant, Claude, give me a breakdown of Doge. And so I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read the highlights here, the important parts anyways. I was absolutely blown away with how this worked last night. I was like, okay, I saw this tweet. I need to learn a little bit more about Doge. And I started asking questions to my assistant, Claude. And so within 5 minutes, I had everything that I needed and wanted to know on Doge. And then they summarized it for me. So I had like a bunch of questions that I was asking, a bunch of stuff everywhere. And then Claude said, "Do you want me to summarize this for you?" I said, "Yes." And here's what we got. Okay, let's get to the beginning here. So I'm not going to talk about the mining stuff, but this is and I made sure to mention in my prompts that this is not anything to do with financial related. I don't want advice. I'm just doing this for research purposes. And I feel like if I didn't say that, my answers would have been, they might not have done it. Claude might have said no. Okay, so Dogecoin was created in December 2013 by Billy Marcus of IBM and Jackson Palmer of Adobe. It originally started as a cryptocurrency parody. Both creators left the project in 2015. Neither creator maintained significant holdings. Marcus sold his stake for a used Honda Civic. So Dogecoin is actually a fork of Litecoin, which was a Bitcoin fork. It uses the script algorithm versus Bitcoin's SHA-256. The block time is approximately 1 minute compared to Bitcoin's 10 minutes. It also uses proof of work consensus, which is important. And there's no maximum supply cap. By the way, we just hit 104 people in here today. So thank you to everybody who shared the stream here. Plus, I think there's 30 so in Zapstream. Okay, so the block reward. There's no halving in Doge. The block reward, 10,000 Doge every 1 minute. The blocks per day, there's about 1,440. The daily new Doge, approximately 14 million, and annual new Doge is approximately 5.256 billion. The mining, also it uses script ASIC. So that's the main difference between Doge and Bitcoin, is that Doge uses script, the script algorithm, and Bitcoin uses SHA-256 algorithm. And what that means, essentially, from my understanding, is the script is much lighter. It takes up less data. It requires less energy to mine. It gave me all the costs for mining. We don't need to get into that. So currently there's 65% of the supply in less than 100 addresses. So it's pretty centralized right now. The top 11 addresses hold 46% of the supply, but the major holders are Robinhood, estimated 30%, various exchange wallets, mining pools, and some public figures like Elon Musk. So here's kind of the comparison with Bitcoin. So Dogecoin has an infinite supply, which they changed halfway through, I believe. They forked it to an infinite supply. There's a fixed block reward, unlike Bitcoin's halving schedule. It's inflationary. There's no halving. And the decreasing percentage inflation over time. Whereas Bitcoin is 21 million supply cap, halving every 4 years or X amount of blocks. Deflationary, fixed and predetermined supply schedule, and it's used as a digital store of value, digital gold. So Dogecoin has faster transactions, lower fees, it's less decentralized, more centralized, smaller development community, and uses the script algorithm, which is less energy intensive. And Bitcoin has higher security through greater hash power, larger development community, slower but more secure transactions, and it uses the SHA-256 algorithm. So if you think about it, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy that we could be talking about Doge as like the new currency. But is it that crazy? I don't know. The key, I think, to Doge is that there's a lot of them. It's very fast, very easy. Everybody likes it. And it's inflationary, which everybody wants in an economy. But it's not going to work without Bitcoin. That's the key here. That's kind of what I wanted to circle back to in terms of, yes, I sold my Doge. And this was my comment on, let's see if I can find it here. Because I said, I definitely agree with what you're saying here. But a couple things. Trump has wanted to take down the Fed, the central banks, from day one back in 2016. He's always said that. He had a picture of Andrew Jackson in the Oval Office. Andrew Jackson was the last president to take down a central bank. So Trump has always wanted to take down the Federal Reserve. And you know what else could happen is that Doge, like you said, all of these things, I foresee a future where you're going to have an application on your phone. It might be X. Legitimately, it sounds crazy, or it might be something like Nostr, or both. But you're going to have everything within one app, and you're going to be able to swap between Bitcoin, Doge, stable coins, Apple stock, Tesla stock, MicroStrategy stock, everything you need, whatever you're trying to pay for, whatever they accept, that's where you're going to be able to swap into instantly. Everything's going to be tokenized. This isn't my opinion. This is from some of the biggest people in the business in Wall Street. Larry Fink has said this many times. Everything's going to be tokenized. So does it really matter what we're using, if it's Doge, if it's Litecoin, if it's the US dollar? That's not so much the point. The point here is that we're going to have a bunch of different currencies. But the thing that's going to be the underlying store of value that's going to reprice everything is going to be Bitcoin. So I sold my Doge yesterday for Bitcoin. Do I regret that? No. The only reason I would see somebody holding Doge right now would be basically to wait for this announcement. I don't even know if it's going to be an announcement. I don't think they're just going to come out and say the US is now using Dogecoin. I just think people are going to start using it. When you take off the restrictions on people, when you take away everything that they've had on them forever and forcing them to use the US dollar, when you take those off, people can use whatever they want. So the only reason I would hold Doge right now, or Dogecoin, would be for this, when this happens, and then you sell it. But at the same time, it's like, if I need Dogecoin, Bitcoin's a much better store of value. What was it? 10,000 Doge every minute. That's how much is coming into supply. So you just compare the two, the supply schedules, the amount in circulation right now. Bitcoin is much more scarce. Bitcoin is going to be the one that reprices everything. I wouldn't be holding anything in Doge right now, even though the price is going to keep going up. Bitcoin is a much better place to store it. But I do love the fact that this is even a discussion. I do think that Elon's had plans for this the whole time. So we'll have to see what happens. But I wanted to just give a bit of a breakdown on Doge because I think it's important for people to know the differences, and because you have to stay informed on this kind of stuff if you're putting your money into it.